Hello and welcome back to a new vlog. It's Sunday today and we thought we'd have a little trip out to Dorking. We have done a lot of admin this morning for our upcoming move, and my husband said, do you fancy a little trip out? So here we are. So we're not really looking for furniture today because, as somebody pointed out in my comments, we're going to have a lot of choice in France, and I agree with that. But there were a few pictures I saw last time we were here that I would like to have another look at, and it's my my last chance really. This is our our final trip to Dorking, which is quite sad because I love Dorking. But anyway, we'll take you along with us. Just cutting through to the main high street and this beautiful church, so nice. There were 6 passengers on the Mayflower who were from Dorking, which is why you see Mayflower and Pilgrim often in the business names here. Sadly, of those 6 passengers, only 2 would survive to celebrate their first Thanksgiving in the New World. I am quite passionate about shopping in antiques places, because if we don't shop in them, then we're going to lose them, like this one, which is already closed down. First, it was into Dorking Antiques with its Victorian shopfront, a distinctive blue and cream facade. I like this pretty Regency glass dish, only £12 for something that's 200 years old. The furniture in here is beautiful as well. It's nice to have a look even if we're not buying today. This is one of my favourite antique shops in the area. It has antiques from the 16th to the 20th centuries with 30 individual sellers. I like this pretty jug from 1820. I always like anything hand painted from Regency or Georgian era. And this bow dish, which is more modern, still made in England, and only £5. My husband liked the Lalique glass. It's quite expensive, but they are beautiful pieces and just lovely to look at. I'm a big fan of Edinburgh crystal, and this was a particularly lovely piece. And these lovely Georgian glasses are so nice. I like this gilded, pretty Royal Crown Derby dish, only £15 and perfect for by a bed so you can put your jewellery there at night. And this small Wedgwood little mini jug was only £10. It just goes to show that buying vintage or antiques, it doesn't have to be very expensive. I fell in love with this early 19th century bowl with a lovely gilded lid. It was £30 and I was desperately trying to think of some way I could justify buying it. It really is a lovely little item. And this hand-painted Delft vase was also very lovely. I think it would look really great with some brightly coloured tulips in the springtime. There are so many items here for under £50 that I think would make lovely gifts. I wish it was more acceptable to give people second-hand items. I've always been happy with anything I've been given which has been second-hand or antique vintage, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. My husband liked this Delft coffee cup, and I agreed it was very, very pretty. Perfect for a cup of coffee, espresso, or kopje koffie, as they say in the Netherlands. Lots of pretty porcelain tureens, sets, they're really lovely, and some beautiful silverware here. I think I would quite like to get into buying silver. I thought this was a really lovely tankard.
And as a geologist, I was so happy to see this display cabinet full of rocks and fossils, only 6 for £10. I think that would be so lovely for a gift for a child, and actually cheaper than a lot of rock and fossil shops I've been to. And I love this side table for £240. They're extremely useful, and I think I'm going to need quite a few in my new home. I love these Georgian glasses. They look so elegant with their long stems. A vintage Tour de France poster, and I'm very excited because the Tour de France is coming to Pau early next month. We enjoy looking through this porcelain cabinet. Even if you're not buying, it's always lovely to look at these antiques and vintage items. I would quite like a pair of Staffordshire dogs, but Edwin says no at the moment. I'm not sure. I like them. What do you think? I was interested in these Dutch wall plaques. They are quite large, so you would need quite a big wall for them to go on, but they would make quite the statement. I tend to be a blue porcelain rather than a green porcelain person, but I think these Wedgwood plates, even though they're green, look really good en masse. And I always like anything hen or chicken related, and I thought this was rather lovely to store your eggs in. Perhaps I need a Staffordshire hen ceramic dish in my life. It was in this shop that we bought a French chest for our new home a few months ago. That's currently sitting with the other items we've purchased, ready to be shipped to France in a couple of weeks' time. I hope it's all right to ask you to give a thumbs up to the video if you're enjoying it. It really helps my channel grow a little bit. So after an enjoyable look around, I went back and selected the Spode dish for £5. I haven't got this shape and I think it's perfect for dips. And I also bought the Regency small jug. Our second stop of the day was into Talbot Antiques, where I've had my eye on this lovely 19th century engraving for at least a year. Every time I come in, I absolutely love it. And I decided today was the day that I was going to buy it. Here I am telling my husband that it's a non-negotiable item. I don't think it is KLM. My husband liked this hand-painted little Dutch house. He was joking that it was from KLM, but of course it's not. It's lovely and vintage. They have some lovely small tables here, which I was having a look through. I know I said no furniture, but it's okay to have a look. I was seriously tempted though with this lovely Georgian mahogany tilt-top occasional table, and I think that would be really lovely in the corner of a room with some vases on, porcelain. I have a cup just like this, which I inherited from my grandmother, and I'm so looking forward to seeing all my things in France. At the moment, they are all boxed up. I love this gilt mirror. I think we definitely need some mirrors in the chateau. I also love this Wedgwood bowl from 1850, only £17, and would look lovely with some fruit in it. Still love this picture of a Spitfire, and if my grandfather was still alive, I would have bought that for him. I won't do a full tour here because I was in this antique shop fairly recently, but of course I don't need an excuse just to have a quick whiz around the porcelain room. The Spode bowl that I liked last time was still here, and I still think this is a great size for a salad or just some fruit. Lots of lovely things here, including this picture of a Scottish landscape. It's a limited edition print. And I really like that picnic basket with this strawberry fabric. It's really lovely. This Limoges porcelain was here last time as well, and it's really lovely, I think, for serving fish dishes. And I looked through, but I didn't buy them, but I think that's a really lovely gift for somebody. And I also like this set of 4 pictures from Paris featuring a marriage and the Petit Palais. They were engravings and I think really, really lovely. These little Dutch miniatures were still here, and I think they're very lovely too. And then one quick glance around some more porcelain, more glassware. There really is so much to see here, and if you're in the area, I would really recommend coming to some of the antique shops in Dorking. Love this little trio, would look very elegant on a breakfast table. And of course the Wedgwood, which I always love and I think is always very reasonably priced. Anyway, for today I was just going to buy the picture which I'm going to have in my bedroom in France. I generally find that these sellers in these antique shops are very interested in what they're selling, and the gentleman here was explaining to us how to date the engraving and a little more detail about it. In fact, he got his magnifying glass out to try and read the name of the artist so we can do a little bit more research about it. This is actually an engraving on copper of another original painting. So that's something for me to investigate and go and see if I can find out more about the original. So I happily paid for my engraving, and as always, if I can possibly support independent antique shops, then I will. Yeah. So here is a familiar sight, my husband carrying a picture up a high street for me.
Well, I am super happy with that little purchase. Well, I was going to go to the charity shop, but that has been vetoed, and I think we're going to go and get something to eat now. I suppose it is quite good to have Edwin to keep me in check, to make sure I don't become a hoarder. But I just love old things, I love antiques, I love things you find in charity shops, which I know in America is what we call thrifting. And I would just much rather buy something that's already on the planet, if I can, than something which is made somewhere else.
The White Horse is a historic coaching inn from the 1700s. We had a quick drink in the historic courtyard, which once would have been full of horses and carriages on the way between London and the south coast of England.
So this is a Georgian coaching house, and Jane Austen stayed here, and she would have probably gone through this little alleyway, so that makes me very happy that I walked the same place as she has.
The drive home takes us through the very pretty Surrey hills. It's a lovely place to visit with lots of little antique shops here as well, and lots of places to sit and have picnics, but we were going to have dinner here at the historic Gomshall Mill. I'm glad that we still have some of our iconic red telephone boxes scattered around the countryside. Here I am having a little pose next to one. Gomshall Mill has actually been here amazingly from the 11th century. It's mentioned in the Domesday Book and was a working mill up until 1952, so that's 1,000 years of milling corn here. Inside you can see the original beams of the mill, and hopefully through this window you can just see the River Tillingbourne flowing underneath the pub itself. We both had the fish and chips, which was excellent, and I'm always amazed that I managed to get my Dutch husband to enjoy mushy peas. Here's a quick glance at the menu, and I really thoroughly recommend. It's a lovely pub in a quite beautiful historic setting. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.